Hey guys, Thinking here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so tonight, if you're in the US, or tomorrow morning if you're in the UK or other parts of the world like me, we are getting the release of the AGL LR Super BUU over on the JP side. So I thought I would do a video here talking about my thoughts on this unit and whether or not he is worth summoning for, and the various factors that you have to take into account. So I usually do these summon or skip videos mainly for global, because obviously you guys know I am a global main. And when it comes to deciding whether or not you're going to summon on certain banners on global, it's, you know, there's always that little extra bit of information that we get thanks to the quote-unquote global foresight. Because, I mean, straight away, one of the first things we know is, for the most part, you know, there's an odd change here and there sometimes, but we know what the banner is going to look like. And especially when it comes to yellow coin LR banners, though, the lineups for them don't really change that much. Sometimes the Dokkan Fest exclusive banners change because of the shuffling around of the releases, but yellow coin LRs not usually, and especially this one that goes in this time slot, because this one is obviously releasing now on JP. Based on the previous 2 years doing the same thing, this guy will drop right before the anniversary for global. So even if you are a global player, a lot of the points in this video will apply to you as well. So I'm interested to know what you guys think down below in the comment section, both of this Super BUU and whether or not you are planning to summon. But let's jump right in and discuss the unit right now. So the LR Super BUU, I've seen some good clips of him. He looks cool, his animations are cool. Obviously, being a yellow coin LR, he has a 4 key and 150% leader skill, which is not great, but, you know, I mean, you pair him with like a 200% lead and you can still make decent teams. The only problem is this BUU does not actually have currently a 200% leader, and I feel like that is something that is going to definitely affect his value in terms of whether or not you're going to want to summon for him. So he leads Majin Buu Saga or Heavenly Events. Majin Buu Saga, we have quite a few leads already. Heavenly Events, we don't have as many, but it's definitely a much smaller category. Now, he does raise attack and defense for 1 turn on both of his super attacks, which is good. And his 18 key super is an AoE that does mega colossal damage to all enemies, and it has a medium chance to stun. So pretty good. Obviously there's not a lot of the really difficult events now that have multiple enemies. World Tournament, I think his animation is quite long, plus LRs that need to get 18 key to get their AoE are obviously not as reliable, but very good. I've seen screenshots of him doing like 22 million attack on turn 1, which is pretty crazy. So he has an entrance animation that gives him extra key and a stat buff for 4 turns. He gets a decent amount of start of turn stats, and then he gets a bit of extra attack depending on your HP thresholds. So 30% or more, he gets 30% attack. 60% or more, he gets another 30% attack, and then 90% or more, he gets another 30% attack and 30% defense. Now, 90% or more is a pretty high restriction when it comes to the harder events where, you know, a lot of the top tier units, you're tanking normal attacks for basically nothing, but then if you get hit by a super, you're losing like a quarter or more of your health. So you are very obviously then dropping below 90%. So bit of an awkward threshold. Attack-wise, it's not a huge deal, but the fact that it's the only restriction that gives him a defense is a little bit annoying. But he has a great chance to guard, so 70% chance to guard, and he gets guaranteed guard when there's a Majin Buu Saga or Refused Fighters category enemy. So I mean, when it's big celebrations, worldwide download, the anniversary, we're always going to be getting, you know, new Gogetas and Vegetos at some point, and then Buu Saga, we're probably due another big Buu Saga celebration at some point. So having guaranteed guard against specific enemy types is decent. It's just there's obviously not a huge amount of like the toughest stages in the game at the moment where this is applicable. So at least he still has a 70% chance, but chance to guard units can always be disappointing. He has a built-in additional attack that has a high chance to become a super, as long as guard has been activated that turn. So obviously, you know, they're implying that they want you to use him in slot 1. He also gets a 100% attack boost on his next attack after he receives an attack, and then that part like deactivates. So what that means, from what I've seen, is if he gets hit in slot 1, he gets a 100% attack buff, then he does his attack, So then if he does an additional, the additional is not going to have that 100% attack boost. But then if he gets hit again, like if there's another attack before your unit in slot 2 attacks, that reactivates this part of his passive. So then on the next turn, you don't have to put him in slot 1, and he will have that 100% attack buff. So quite interesting. I think that's the first time we've had a unit with a mechanic worded this way. And then as he receives attacks, he builds up. He gets 1 key up to 7 and defense 20% up to 140. So it's 7 hits for both to get fully built up. And then he has an active skill, massively raises attack temporarily, does ultimate damage, recovers 40% HP, and action breaks the first enemy action. Obviously with active skills, you use them before you've locked in your turn, so it's always the first enemy attack of the turn that gets cancelled out. Definitely can be useful. That can be activated when HP is 60% or less, starting from the 5th turn. So definitely not the worst restriction for when you can use it. His links, fairly common, obviously, BUU links, but he does have some decent, regularly seen villain links, right? Brutal Beatdown, Metamorphosis, Fear and Faith, Fierce Battle, obviously Legendary Power. Margin is, of course, a good link within the actual, like, Margin teams. And then category-wise, he's on BUU Saga, Transformation Boost, Artificial Lifeforms, Exploding Rage, Martian Power, Power Absorption, Heavenly Events, Sworn Enemies, and Worldwide Chaos. So he's on quite a lot of teams, like Worldwide Chaos, Sworn Enemies, Artificial Lifeforms, Transformation Boost. These are all very big teams that have a lot of different villain characters. A bunch of the different movie bosses, units like Frieza, Goku Black, Zamasu. So he's on a lot of categories with a lot of other villain units. Now, one of the things that you have to think about first and foremost is where are you going to use this guy and where is he going to get his biggest potential? Because currently, as I said, he has no 200% lead, but one of the big things looming on the horizon for both JP and Global is, of course, Golden Week, which is going to be in roughly 10 or 11 days. Last year it was on the 27th, the year before it was on the 28th, so it's always around that time. And we are, essentially, like I say, at the time this video goes up, it's still going to be the 16th in most places, so we are 11 days away from Golden Week. So, first of all, that's something to consider on whether you want to summon for this guy at all, because you're going to be spending stones that you could be using during the Golden Week celebration. But then something else you have to think about is Golden Week could easily drop a 200% lead for this guy, where he could then have a really strong team to be run on. Now, obviously, one thing to consider is his banner will be up for a while. In fact, this should be the last banner that releases on JP before Golden Week. So his banner should be up by the time we actually find out who the Golden Week units are. So when we look at his categories, Artificial Lifeforms is a big one. I think he might be on Sworn Enemies as well. I'd have to double check. But Dokkan Fest Baby is something that people have wanted to see for a long time. I think an option for Golden Week could be Super Saiyan 4 Goku versus Baby. So if Baby was to drop as a lead for Artificial Lifeforms, and then with some combination of Transformation Boost or Sworn Enemies as, you know, for the full 200%, then this guy would get a 200% lead, where he could then look pretty good. If a lot of the other BUU units are on it as well, then he's going to have a lot of good partners to choose from. Same with units like Lord Slug, potentially will be on Transformation Boost. I don't think any Lord Slugs are on Worldwide Chaos, but there's a couple of different options for Golden Week that could give this guy a 200% lead, and the banner will still be up by the time we find out who the units are going to be. So one thing I would definitely say is if you're on the fence about whether he's worth summoning for or not, in terms of like when he's going to eventually get a solid team, you could wait until the details for Golden Week come out. And then obviously if you're a global player, by the time his banner's going to drop on global, Golden Week will have come and gone. We're already going to know what his banner looks like, so you're going to be able to make a slightly more informed decision. So speaking of the banner, we obviously don't know what that's going to look like, but I brought up the Zamasu one here. Yellow coin banners have obviously changed now to this format where we get the new LR, then we get 2 other LRs featured, and then, 7 other random SSRs. So 10 featured SSRs. Remember, all the non-LR ones, they can't be Dokkan Fest exclusive, so these are all just random general pool units. So for this banner, I would expect to see a bunch of the old BUUs, Tech Super BUU maybe. Maybe to add a little bit of extra value, the Gotenkses that are getting an easy A. The STR base form and the AGL Super Saiyan 1, if they were on here, I guess that would add a little bit of extra value. But yellow coin banners are always a bit hit or miss. So when it comes to choosing to summon for him, that is another thing that you have to factor in. Plus, remember that Golden Week will most likely, since it usually does, but you never know, have a Part 2 LR banner. Now, I'm going to make a separate video about this, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Golden Week Part 2 LR banner is a Carnival LR banner rather than a normal yellow coin. But the point is it will still have this Super BUU in the general pool of LRs for the JP version of the banner. So that is another thing to consider, that if you are someone who likes to go all in on Golden Week, like last year, obviously we got Goku and Gohan and Cell, and then the Part 2 LR was the Tech LR Gohan and Goku. I know a lot of people were really hyped about that unit, a lot of people summoned on that banner. You could potentially get Super BUU while summoning on that banner. So the random SSRs, like I say, probably going to be a bunch of horrible Majin Buu Saga units. When it comes to the other two LRs, who could they be, right? For Zamasu, we had Rose, Goku Black, we had Tapion and Minosha. I'm not sure outside of like Time Travelers if there's any connection between them, so I'm assuming that's what it is. So hopefully at least one of the LRs will fit the theme. But who could they be? So Super BUU's leader skill is Majin Buu Saga and Heavenly Events. If we look at the yellow coin LRs, we have Goten and Trunks, Majin Vegeta, and Physical Super Saiyan 2 Angel Vegeta. And that's it for Majin Buu Saga. Heavenly Events, wow, yeah, big category. Ton of LRs to choose from. Literally only Goten and Trunks. Yeah, the fact that they're on both, I would not be surprised if they are featured as one of the LRs, which definitely impacts the value, I would say, in a negative way. But looking at some of his teams, so Majin Power, wow, yeah, there's no yellow coin LRs at all, because Uber's Battlefield and Butenks is Dokkan Fest LR. Worldwide Chaos. Now, Worldwide Chaos, we have Tech Goku Black and Zamasu. He could actually be a good pick for this banner, right? Because this unit is still pretty good. They are still awaiting a 200% lead as well. But if they get one, the rotation of them and this Zamasu, I think, will still be pretty good. So that would be definitely a decent value unit to have on there. Obviously, we could have Zamasu or Rose, but definitely would be good to have the Tech one, I think, out of the three. I mean, Zamasu, would I argue that he's better than the Tech one overall? Potentially. He does at least have a 200% team at the moment, but obviously he's not a slot 1 unit, and this Super BUU is. They don't really share any links. And then we have Cell is the other yellow coin LR. Artificial life forms, we have Baby. We already talked about him with the potential of Baby for Golden Week Dokkan Fest. Now, if Baby is part of the theme of Golden Week, I would assume this unit will get an LR during an EZA during that celebration, which means they give him his own like yellow coin EZA banner. So I think that makes it less likely he would be featured on a banner right before Golden Week, but I guess it depends. Maybe if he's featured on the banner, that could be a hint that, you know, Baby versus Super Saiyan 4 Goku is not Golden Week. It wouldn't necessarily mean that it's not going to be, but Super 17, as much as I love the boy, not a great card, doesn't really work very well with BUU. And then Cell's on here again. Man, Cell popping up on 2 of these, and then Goten and Trunks popping up on 2 of these. It doesn't exactly fill me with excitement for what this banner could be like. Now, obviously, doesn't mean they're going to pick them, right? I mean, I wouldn't have assumed Tapion and Minosha would be a featured LR on the Zamasu banner, so they could surprise us. But I honestly feel like, whilst this unit is good, with the timing of his release, and the fact that he, at least on release, doesn't have a 200% lead, and the fact that his banner's really not going to be anything, like, crazy, I don't know if I can really say he's a good unit to go for most people, right? Like, obviously, if you're a big whale, or you're just a big fan of BUU, or the BUU Saga in general, you might want to throw a few multis at it. But I think, considering the timing, this is a pretty easy skip for a lot of people, right? Unless it is revealed that Golden Week is going to give this guy a 200% lead. But as we've already said, like, you might end up just pulling him on the Part 2 LR banner. And especially if the Part 2 LR banner does end up being a Carnival LR, it's safe to say, like, it's very likely that that unit will be better than this Super BUU anyway, right? So if you were going to summon on one of those 2 LR banners, you'd probably want to summon on the new Carnival banner. If it is a solo Carnival banner, it will probably mean the first return of STR Carnival Goku as well. So that banner lineup is just going to be way better than this one. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. I might do a few summons on my JP account, but I'm definitely not going to go crazy for this guy. I don't really have good teams to use him on as it is on my account anyway. I mean, even on global, right, I could make his best team possible if I did pull him, but again, with no 200% lead as of yet, I don't know if this guy is like a high priority unit, but he's definitely fun to use. His animations are good. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. For JP players, are you going to summon for him? Are you going to wait to see what the Golden Week theme is? And then for global players, obviously we get to decide a lot later. We will know exactly what his banner looks like. Golden Week will have come and gone. But what are your thoughts about the Super BUU unit in general? Let me know down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.